What's up, guys? It's your boy, World of Wrestling. Welcome to the channel. We're here to do AEW Dynamite, October 16th, 2024 review. I've been gone for quite a while now, simply because of the hurricanes. I've been dealing with a lot of shit with this new home I just purchased. It's been very busy, I've been burnt out, really. I've been keeping up with the wrestling and so forth, but I know I haven't been live. The computer, honestly, just looking at it while I'm streaming live for you guys, it's not coming in very good. The viewership is down more than doing it by video. I did SmackDown like 2 weeks ago and got like over um 75 views, almost 100, and I was getting over 100 almost every single episode or close to it, doing reviews. Until I get a new computer, I think I'm going to go back to doing regular videos and not doing the live setups, because this computer, it works good, but it's very slow. And it's not as fast. Um, Not as fast as it used to be. I mean, it is coming in a little bit better than usual. The live timer is coming in like the way it's supposed to, but I haven't been too happy with the way this computer's been running lately. It is getting old and it's pretty outdated. It still works, but it just doesn't work at the speed it needs to be at to function at full capacity. Matt 87 Eagle says, "What a boring show for AEW Dynamite." Uh, I wouldn't say it was completely boring, but there was certain aspects of the show that was boring. I would admit that. I think the show really needed some work. The major stories they touched on, they did a good job with, like Jay White and Hangman Page with the Christian Cage match. I thought that was good. Um, I mean, it's typical plain and ordinary type of thing, but it did the job to continue the story between Hangman Page and Jay White, which I think is a great deal. Guys, coming in, by all means, if you'd like, please hit the like button to help support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Um, Honestly, I'm not gonna go on a full-fledged review here. I'm gonna touch on some of the important things. John Moxley's group is fucking killing it. Um, they're the best. They're the focal point of the entire show. They were in like 3 different segments, I believe. They're trying to take over the entire AEW. They're basically taking off where the Young Bucks failed, and I think this time they're trying to legitimately make it where they are like a brute force coming into AEW, trying to take over and recreate it. They're not NWO type of look. It's more along the lines like AEW is its own entity, but there's a new group in town that's trying to change the image of AEW, is really what they're trying to do with this whole storyline with John Moxley's group, which I don't have a problem with. Um so yeah, I think they're more of a force than the Young Bucks were trying to be with Tony Khan. Um where Tony Khan is at this point, he really needs to get on television in a manager type role here and take control, because at the end of the day he's kind of coming across the way he is in real life. He's just a fucking tail between his legs, takes shit from other people and doesn't act like a boss. This is a great opportunity to make Tony Khan act like a boss, go on television and force John Moxley and his group to explain why they're doing what they're doing. um where is this going to stop, and actually come out and act like a legitimate boss. This is a calling. This is basically calling out Tony Khan to do his fucking job. And basically, right now, Moxley and his gang is just running roughshod through this shit. And it's basically a reenactment of the real life thing of what happened back in the day when Punk was there. Fights occurring, still fights are occurring on and off throughout the year. And it's just absolutely mind numbingly stupid how this man is not taking control of his promotion and he's investing all this money. He's throwing money away. By not being a boss, you're basically throwing money away. That's all there is to it. In order to be successful, you have to take control of your whole entire promotion to get the respect of the workers there. Because at the end of the day, if you're letting them just do whatever the hell they want, they're going to do whatever they want. And that's not what you do running a business. I mean, you can be friends with your employees, but you also got to be a boss first. And if they're stepping over their boundaries and crossing a line that interferes with the business success, then you're going ahead and clearly not focused on your business. You're focused on your friends and the political party you got going on in your promotion. That's just idiotic. That's not the way to run a business. I'm sorry to say. Matt87 Eagle says BCC ends Daniel's in-ring full-time career, and all AEW has for them is Dark Order and Top Flight. Give me a break here, TK. Matt87 Eagle, I would agree with you, but at the same time, I actually can't. And let me explain why. These guys, Dark Order, were a top-notch tag team in the tag team division, and a good fucking faction, and then all of a sudden they were dropped off like a bad habit. Top Flight, they were another good tag team. Dante Martin, Darius Martin, I believe Darius is his first name. And now they got that other dude that debuted against Chris Jericho a year or two back. And they're doing nothing. I think this is a great opportunity to give them airtime on a legitimate station. Now, I do know that Top Flight's getting a trios tag team title match on Collision, which might be something to be cool to tune in for if you're recording the show and just want to tune in for that one specific match. I think that match will be pretty damn good. It's got a story behind it, at least. But let's be honest. They're on Collision. Nobody fucking watches Collision. Then you're going to have 3 hours on Saturday night for Battle of the Belts for an hour too? With a 2-hour fucking Collision? Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not watching that. I'm going to be watching UFC, college football, or going out and doing something fun with my wife. I'm not going to be sitting watching Collision. Are you fucking mad? Get the fuck out of here. Got to be out of your fucking mind. Not to mention later on in the night, I'm going to go to the fucking gym and get some damn exercise. I haven't gone to the gym in almost a week. So get the hell out of here with this crap. Matty7 Eagle says TK should have opened the show and apologize for everyone who saw Brian taking out in a violent way. Well, yeah, like I just said, they need to get Tony Khan live in front of a camera and playing out the boss role here that he legitimately is in real life, and start making demands. What the fuck are you guys doing? You're running roughshod through my promotion. You're acting like you run this corporation. You don't. I own this. He should be furious. He's not on television. It's like as if he doesn't even own the fucking company. Hell, even the fucking VIP, the EVPs didn't do fucking shit. They just were like, oh, with this, I let them do whatever the hell they want. Come on, man. That's not. That's stupid. That's illogical. I mean, the EVP is one thing. They just taking a back seat from what they should have been doing in the first place. That's all John Moxley is. He's a guy that is taking over the role with this group he's got over the EVPs. That's all we're seeing here. They're just replacements of the EVPs. That's all this is. Without any fucking legitimate reaction from Tony Khan's end. He should be furious. He should be coming on television and being upset with what's going on. Sorry, there's a fly flying around here. Should be upset about what's going on in his promotion, and like in real life, he doesn't seem to give a shit. It's just it's a free for all. It's a fucking 3-ring circus. That's the problem I have with that storyline. Adam Cole, MJF. Speaking of Matt 87 Eagle, speaking of Adam Cole. Then there's Adam Cole explanation for attacking MJF's weak sauce. Or I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Matt. Anyway. Yeah, this whole thing makes absolutely no sense. They really should have just stayed the fuck away from this completely. You got Adam Cole coming across as now the babyface, explaining why he turned on MJF, and he never had to turn on him in the first place. He could have simply just gone ahead and said, I don't want to be your friend, and just kick his fucking ass from the get-go. At the end of the day, this whole situation makes you want to root more for MJF than Adam Cole. And Adam Cole is the good guy in this whole scenario that they've made Adam Cole into. What the fuck? Adam Cole's story and his faction went nowhere. Fucking Wardlow's gone. He's not even been seen on television for God knows how long. I don't even know what he's doing at this point. I don't know if he's in Ring of Honor, Collision, Rampage, My Ass, whatever. I don't know what the hell he's doing at this point. The rest of the Undisputed Kingdom, they're randomly having matches between Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, and Michael Bennett. Either tag team wrestling, 6-man tag team wrestling, or singles competition, but they're not doing anything all that special either. No explanation as to why they're not still together. He just comes out by himself as if this group, the Undisputed Kingdom back at World's End, never existed. And that he didn't pretend to be some posing as MJF doing all these terrible things backstage while MJF was opening up his heart to someone who he thought was developing a friendship with, and turning out to be a no good lying piece of shit and backstabbing him. I'm supposed to buy that MJF is a bad dude in this scenario? How does that work? This storyline should have been left alone. It shouldn't have been reverted back to, because it don't make any fucking sense. Do I get the point of Adam Cole saying, well, the reason why I did all this was to fuck you over? Because I think you're a low-life scumbag, and for the first time in your life, you get your heart broken? Yeah, I get it, but how does that make you the good guy in this scenario? It doesn't make any fucking sense. At the end of the day, I'm going to be rooting for MJF, not Adam Cole. I don't really care for Adam Cole at this point. He should have stayed a legitimate heel and tried to get this fucking Undisputed Kingdom off the fucking ground since he was out with this major injury. I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. It makes no sense. It makes Adam Cole look like a heel still to me, and MJF is a babyface, even though MJF is playing the fucking heel role in this situation. Like, who the fuck cares? This should have been over and done with after the low blow, honestly. Because if MJF would have stayed heel or babyface, excuse me, if MJF stayed babyface, I could understand them possibly going back to this and then explaining Adam Cole, explaining himself to the audience and, shitting on the audience and saying, you want to root for a lowlife scumbag like MJF, who's just a bullshit artist and everything else. That's fine. That would have made a little sense if you wanted to finish the story where they should have been able to, but unfortunate injuries occurred. That's one thing. But to fucking go back to this when the characters have been reversed, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ass backwards. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. It's just like one was baby face. MJF is a baby face, and Adam Cole was the heel in the beginning, and then we come back, and Adam Cole's fully healed from his injuries, and MJF's the heel again. That's why I didn't like the move of having MJF be a heel when he came back as a babyface from his injuries. To me, it was weird. This situation bringing back to these two guys again is weird. It just shows that Tony Khan does not have any real. I'm noticing that this, after Wrestle Dream, he is trying to actually have legitimate stories, but his stories don't make a lot of sense either. There's plots left out, like his appearance about Jon Moxley's group. The thing that Matt 87 Eagle said, he could have also came out and apologized to the audience for what they saw, what Jon Moxley and his group did to Bryan Danielson after the match was over for the world title match. That would have even made sense. Forget about even what I said, just him apologizing to the audience, being a boss and saying, hey, I'm sorry to my fans that you saw this terrible act, and then transition into, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing and why are you acting this way? Explain to me what is so wrong with AEW. One thing I will say about this Jon Moxley group that's going on here that I absolutely love, Tony Khan is touching on the reality of what fans are thinking about AEW at this point. That's the one positive I can say about the Jon Moxley storyline. I'm loving the way Jon Moxley's coming across. He's coming across very vile and vicious. He's a heel, but he's not like this type of heel that needs to cheat to win. He cleanly beat Bryan Danielson. He didn't cheat to win that match. He was just a fucking vicious monster. And after the match is over, he fucking practically kills him and has him carried out on a stretcher. That's fine. And that's a heel to me. You don't fucking do that to someone you just beat and then beat the fucking shit out of him some more just to make sure he gets on a stretcher and gets out of the damn arena on a stretcher. I mean, that's not competition. That's just someone out for a kill, So there's the three storylines. The only one that's really a solid storyline that makes any sense whatsoever is Hangman Page and Jay White. It's a very simplistic, straightforward storyline. Going into some other little minor storylines that are occurring on this show tonight was Takeshita as the new international champion. By the way, I lost the bet with Will Ospreay. I was very surprised Will Ospreay lost this match right out of the gate when he just won the fucking title at All In 2 months ago. That made no sense to me either. Why the fuck would you go ahead and make Will Ospreay lose the title in a triple threat match nonetheless? Why wouldn't you have Will Ospreay beat Ricochet in this triple threat match and then moving Will Ospreay and Takeshita in a one-on-one match for the International Championship at Full Gear, and then have Kyle Fletcher interfere in this match after being gone for a little while and coming back and doing exactly what he did at this event for Wrestle Dream this past Saturday. To me, that made no sense either. I really thought I had that bet won with Will Ospreay winning. He was actually a minus 400 on Bet Online. So I was a bit surprised by that. I mean, it's okay. I mean, he's still technically the right guy eventually was going to win that title. I just don't think that Takeshita should have won it at that event. I think he should have won it in a one-on-one match with Will Ospreay, which would have probably been a lot better than this one. I mean, the match wasn't terrible at Wrestle Dream, but it wasn't, the match that I think Will Ospreay and Takeshita could have had one-on-one. So yeah, that is what it is. So now Ricochet is still begging for or bargaining for a international championship match. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Matt A7 Eagle says BCC is attacking mid-card wrestlers or nobodies. The only guy I could see challenging Moxley is Darby. He's not going to win, but there's no top wrestlers defending AEW in this story. That I will agree with that comment. That is very true. They need some major stars on the babyface side of things with AEW. Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy is another one that they could go with. Granted, he isn't no main eventer type of deal, but he is one of the front runners of AEW that Tony Khan loves to go to for his openers when he was the international champion. He's had rivalries with Jon Moxley over the international championship before. He's beaten him for the title and retaining it. So Orange Cassidy is another person that has a legitimate gripe with Jon Moxley, especially after tonight with them attacking him. So that's another one you're leaving out. But yeah, I mean, he's no Kenny Omega. He's no, none of those guys. So yeah, they're missing some guys. If Adam Cole was in this, okay, I could see that. I mean, this is a legitimate opportunity. I honestly think they made a huge mistake moving MJF from babyface to heel. Oh yeah, Will Ospreay, another one who wasn't on the show, who would be a great representative of AEW to defend AEW's name. But the thing is, MJF is a guy that should have been kept as babyface, especially if you're going to have Jon Moxley be this great heel that he's portraying to be. And let me tell you, he can play a great heel. He can portray a great babyface. He is really good at doing either end, given the right story, that is, and allowing him to just be himself and not do what they did in WWE in 2019, for God's sakes. Him having a fucking vaccine shots, which is kind of ironic because that was only a few months before we actually. Oh wait, no, it was actually a year or two before we had the COVID-19 pandemic, where people had to get vaccinations to prevent themselves from possibly getting the virus. So, I mean, that was kind of ironic if you think about it. But Jon Moxley has played great roles. He's been a multi-world champion. He is the face of AEW. At the end of the day, there's no one that can dispute that outside of MJF. He's the only other. He's basically the future of AEW and is also the face at the same time, in my book. So, personally, MJF should have never changed heel. He never should have changed to heel. He should have remained a babyface in all of this. We shouldn't be seeing Adam Cole and MJF. We should be MJF frontlining AEW, defending it. He literally signed a fucking contract. He could have went to WWE, decided to stay with AEW, and got a fucking tattoo of AEW on his fucking back of his leg. I mean, can you get any more serious about MJF being a serious player with AEW that he wants to make AEW a great place to work? So he would have been a great fucking representative against Jon Moxley's group. But no, we had to turn him back to heel. Don't get me wrong, MJF's great as a heel, but this is a great. Matt A7 Eagle brings up a great point. We don't have any legitimate big name stars running up against the Jon Moxley group right now. I don't know if they call them the Blackpool Combat Club at this point or whatever. They were calling them BCC, but they're not even really look like the BCC anymore. They look like a different entity at this point, in my personal opinion. So yeah, MJF would have been great for this. And no, we decide to change him back, go backwards with MJF's character development, instead of sticking with what made sense. Now, don't get me wrong, there were fans that were cheering, thank you, Samoa Joe, for beating MJF's title reign. But there were fans that still beloved MJF. I was definitely one of them and still do like him, and I hope he kicks Adam Cole's ass. Don't get me wrong, I still like Adam Cole, but the whole character development, the storyline progressions, and everything else in between it makes absolutely no sense to me. At this point, because of the character changes, they shouldn't even be going back to this bullshit, as I've already mentioned earlier in this video. So, I honestly, they look like they're now, they go in circles here. Round and round they go. Where they stop, we don't know. But what we do know is now they're trying to make attempts to actually build story. But while they're trying to do that, they're making absolutely no fucking sense. The effort's there now, but the stories don't click. That's a problem. Going into the matches weren't all that exciting at all this week for this episode. This episode was, wrestling-wise, boring as shit. I did not care. The main event was good with Christian Cage and Jay White. That was about it. The rest of this fucking match card for Dynamite, you could have threw it up against the wall and hoped some shit stick. That's basically what this show was, wrestling-wise. I didn't care for the wrestling at all. Mercedes Moné doing absolutely nothing in the women's division. I am not impressed. I think this absolutely is fucking trash. Mariah May won the women's championship. Hasn't done a fucking thing. Given nothing of good quality television to actually work with here. Creatively. You put her in this good storyline with Toni Storm. She looks like a fucking amazing character. And then we slow down her momentum with no good backup for following up with what she did after she won the world title. Why? Why wouldn't you have a backup to continue on the story of Mariah May from winning a world title that was an impressive build-up towards it, number one, with Toni Storm, and then the match at All In was excellent. And then you give her this shit? Random bland matches that look like fucking squash matches? Come on, man. She's not a fucking, a newbie on the block going ahead and going against jobbers. This is a woman that competed in a major pay-per-view event 2 months ago and had a good performance against a top-notch women's wrestler known as Toni Storm, who recreated herself with this character. this old school actress wrestler gimmick. I thought it was great what they did leading into it, and what came out of the end result was great on that their part. But then after that, we got nothing. We have nothing going on with Mariah May. She's even pointed out, where's my challengers? What am I doing? What is there no one here that wants to face me to win a world title? Like, and then we had Anna Jay show up out of fucking nowhere. Who the fuck is Anna Jay at this point? You wanted to talk about Anna Jay maybe 2-3 years ago during the pandemic or type of shit. Okay, you got something to talk about. She was actually relevant on television week to week. She ain't doing shit on television anymore. She ain't fucking there at all. I don't know where she comes off just showing up out of the clear blue and just saying, hey, here I am. I'm going to slap you upside the face, and then hitting Christopher Daniels in the fucking face by accident. The fuck is this shit? Let me just go over the matches here, because at this point, I am fucking done talking. I really am. I've been 30 minutes in, haven't covered a single match. So let's go over the matches, and let's call this a night, because I pretty much touched on everything else. I'm not invested in this product anymore. I really am not. And I hate to say that because I do like the performers that are there. But what Tony Khan is doing is inaccurate storyline telling. He's not putting his best foot forward every week with these episodes. It's like he's not even trying anymore. And to me, that is bad management skills. If you're going to be on air and you're going to do this shit, fucking put some effort into it. Don't just sit there and take it up the ass and do absolutely nothing. I mean, come on, man. You got to be fucking joking around here. All right, so the matches we had on this show. Oh, yeah, Chris Jericho. He's announced for a rematch against Mark Briscoe and pointed out his brother again. And he said, I'm going to become a second-time Ring of Honor World Champion like Jay Briscoe. What is with the fucking nonstop bringing up Jay Briscoe's name just because he's facing Mark Briscoe? You're like putting Mark Briscoe second class here. Like, oh, well, the only reason why this storyline has any of importance is because Chris Jericho just keeps mentioning Jay Briscoe's name every single time he talks about Mark Briscoe because his brother has passed on. It worked one time. Doing this over and over again is getting to the point where they're just trying to make this legitimate and noteworthy off of Jay Briscoe's name. And that doesn't help Mark Briscoe in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion. Does it help build frustration, anger with Mark Briscoe, trying to get him to look like as good as his brother? I could say yeah, but is it absolutely necessary that we have to bring up Jay Briscoe in every fucking promo that Chris Jericho has to insult Mark Briscoe at the end of the day? One time's good enough. You don't have to do it over and over again to make a statement. It just wears out its welcome, really. So, yeah, we're going to be seeing a ladder match for the Ring of Honor World Championship on Dynamite next week. Do I look forward to seeing that? I think it's going to be a good match. It should be a pay-per-view match at Full Gear, but hey, you know what? I don't care. This match shouldn't even be taking place on a Dynamite show since this is not an AEW championship. It's a Ring of Honor World title. Could you imagine if WWE bought out WCW and then they just were they created a television show of their own separate from the WWE, and it was meant to be two separate shows, but yet they keep bringing in WCW champions onto a WWE product like Raw is War or SmackDown. If they were trying to keep them separated, it makes absolutely no fucking sense at all. So it's totally illogical and stupid. And that's what this shit is. Mark Briscoe should be on Ring of Honor. If you want Mark Briscoe on AEW Dynamite, make him drop to the title to someone who actually works on Ring of Honor on a week-to-week basis. Move him over to Dynamite and actually have him win an AEW championship. It's not like he's got a problem with the networks. The networks don't seem to have a problem with him. He's constantly on Dynamite every single week. He's actually being utilized better than most of the fucking people on the roster right now. So, I mean, come on. Whatever. At this point, what am I going to fucking do, you know? So, we get an match with FTR versus the Learning Tree of Big Bill and fucking Big Bill and Brian Keith. And Brian Keith takes the L with the I forgot the name of their tag team finisher. Shatter Machine, excuse me. Yeah, it was Shatter Machine. I was going to say Broken Machine, but close enough. So they won that match by beating Brian Keith. Whoop-de-fuck you do. Like, give me a fucking break. So we get Mercedes Moné defending her championship against Queen Amanita. Who the fuck is Queen Amanita? What, because they had some backstage altercation of words with each other? We're supposed to give a shit about this match? We're supposed to believe that Mercedes Moné has a big challenger who's going to give her a run for her money? Come on, man. Who the hell cared to watch this match? This match could have been on Rampage or Dark. Give me a fucking break. To me, this is like devaluing the championship. You're having her defend the title against fucking jobbers. Same thing Mariah May is going through right now as AEW Women's Champion. That is stupid. And it does not help develop or elevate the women's division at all. Plain and simple. Private Party actually requested for a rematch for the AEW tag team titles against the Young Bucks. What a fucking joke. Daniel Garcia and Jack Perry got in each other's faces. It seems like at Full Gear, we're definitely getting a match between Jack Perry and Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. Who wins that match? That's going to be very, very interesting. I think the odds are going to be extremely close. I think Jack Perry is going to be a slight favorite, and Daniel Garcia is going to be a slight underdog. So you might want to keep an eye out for that if you're interested in betting on pro wrestling on Bet Online. But in all honesty, this is a match that could go either way. I wouldn't even dare touch this shit at all. Just kick back and enjoy a good match, because I think Daniel Garcia and Jack Perry are going to deliver a good match at Full Gear. Honestly. This is a storyline that I'm looking forward to see where this develops. I hope it develops into something serious and we get a good rivalry between these two. But I'm not going to count on it because it's Tony Khan we're talking about. So, whatever. You know? Let's see what other matches occurred. Shelton Benjamin, Leo Rush. This was a good match. Very predictable match, but a good match nonetheless. Shelton Benjamin displayed. Still, he has the capabilities of being a good performer in that ring and doing things in the ring that most people his age still can't do. And he was really good tonight. We did get a match announced 2 weeks from now. During the Halloween week, we are going to see Shelton Benjamin versus Swerve Strickland going 1-on-1, which was the promo after the match was over. That's what was discussed. And pretty much we are leading into a one-on-one match that was mentioned later on in the show that match is officially now booked. Don Callis had his announcement of bringing out Takeshka and Kyle Fletcher, and Kyle Fletcher doesn't want to explain his actions as to why he turned on fucking Will Ospreay. God almighty, please shut the fuck up. Takeshka didn't have much to say, spoke some Japanese, smoked. He spoke some English and said he was going to defend the title against anyone and everyone across the country, across the world. What the fuck you do? Where's the fucking story here? Oh, he's a fighting champion as a major heel. He won the title off of some controversial ending. Oh gosh, we should all be so excited and full of excitement over this. I don't give two shits. Give me Will Ospreay and Takeshka in the ring one-on-one with no Ricochet. We're going to get a Ricochet versus Takeshka a one-on-one match, and then we're going to see Will Ospreay and Takeshka one-on-one. Probably at Full Gear or World's End, depending on where Ricochet's match takes place with Takeshka. But I don't give a shit about this. This is fucking... We got Brian Cage, Lance Archer. Lance Archer and Brian Cage apparently are going to go after the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles, I think was announced. Like, you got a fucking built-up freight train in Brian Cage and a Lance Archer you couldn't even fucking notice and looks like a fucking out-of-shape slub who used to be in great shape and was strong as an ox, and now he used to be the killer, and now he's just the out-of-shape slub. I mean, come on, man. Fuck out of here. They're going to go after Ring of Honor tag team titles. Like, I give a shit. Let's see here. And then, yeah, the main event was Jay White and Christian Cage. Whoop-de-fucky-do, which I already mentioned was a great match. I think there was a 6-man tag team match somewhere. It was with Kyle O'Reilly and trying to remember where the fuck it was. Hold on. Oh yeah. It was a 6-man tag team match with the Young Bucks and Okada versus Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and another one that's in their group from the conglomerate. And it turned out to be a full-fledged mayhem of Jon Moxley's group just beating the shit out of everybody, and the EVPs and Okada just leaving the ring and leaving them to do whatever the hell they wanted, as if they were like, we don't run the show, we're just kind of here pretending we do. But yeah, we're just going to go now. Thanks for coming. Have a nice day. Bye. Oh, God. Tony, when are you ever going to fucking learn, dude, to have consistency with your stories and make sense of them? I've pretty much iterated everything I need to utter out here in this live stream today about what occurred and what needs to be fixed. We have so many moving parts and just a lot of things going absolutely nowhere, to the point where I just feel like, why should we care? There's effort being put in now, but there's no consistency or stories making any sense. Sorry, but this sucks. Do I like the effort? Yeah, it shows that he's actually listening to the audience. So he's trying to put some effort into making legitimate stories for us to care about. But the problem is he's discombobulated everything. He's totally unorganized and he's just all over the place. And that's the problem with his storylines right now. He's starting to put effort with no organization, no organizational skills into it. How he's running a business makes absolutely no sense to me. If he wasn't born into a family that had money, I don't think he would even last. If he was running, let's say he was running TNA back in the day where they were running a show in front of a few thousand people or just a few hundred people like they still do now, he wouldn't last. He wouldn't maintain and stay in business, and TNA would be dead right now. They wouldn't even exist. They wouldn't have any platform to do anything because they wouldn't even be around. They dissolve themselves. No one would even have to buy them out. They would just go ahead and dissolve and go away. Nobody would give a shit. So that's how bad Tony Khan's stories are. You look in TNA, if you have TNA Plus or Access TV, and if you want to get TNA Plus for $9.99 a month, you could go ahead and watch the shows live, TNA Impact, and you will notice that there is a consistency of storylines being built on the shows. Some of them are a little weak and kind of boring, which I will admit I watched last Thursday's episode, and it was somewhat okay. They had good stories. They were building around the Bound for Glory pay-per-view event, which looks like a good, decent Bound for Glory pay-per-view event. I may take a look at it. I'm not going to do a review on here because I'm still not been watching TNA consistently. I've been kind of like throughout the years on and off with it. But it is a lot better than AEW, honestly. As fucking crazy as that might sound with the low budget, they didn't have a whole lot of people in this episode that I was watching from last week simply because of the hurricanes that took place. So they were in front of a short venue in a very small venue, and that's what they were doing. So that's all they had to work with at that present time. And they put on a decent show. I mean, it was kind of boring, I will admit, but they had stories that made sense. They weren't all over the place like this. They felt like a consistent story-driven show like WWE has pulled off. I didn't watch Monday Night Raw this past Monday simply because I was so burnt out from this hurricane, pissing me off, costing me a lot of money for fixing my home and so forth. So I'm not very happy right now. That's another reason why I haven't come on here. I got my electricity over the weekend, this past weekend, and I just was totally out of it when it came to wrestling and doing things on this channel. Um, I hope I did deliver good here. If I did, by all means, hit the like button if you like the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. I thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.